Hey guys, this is AJ Chapman, Ebonite Pro Staffer, and today we are at Bowling Shops Louisville inside AMF Louisville Lanes, and we're going to be covering the basics on dual angle layouts. So with dual angle layouts, a lot of times you'll see a degree by a number by a degree. So what the first angle does is that it determines where the core is going to be at in position to the pin. So the smaller the angle, the more you swing the core out. The bigger the angle, the more stacked it's going to be. When you lay the core down, it tends to hook a little bit sooner and kind of tumble a little faster. And the core being taller raises the RG and it kind of makes it lope down the lane further. The next number after the first angle is the pin to PAP distance. So that's going to determine how much the bowling ball is going to flare. 3 3/8 to 4-inch pin. That's pretty much laying the core at its max unstable position. So it's going to try really, really hard to get back to stable. So it's going to pick up and see the lane very, very early. Like 6 3/4, which is a 1/4 inch or a quarter turn of the ball, it's going to go way further down the lane before it hooks. So the 3 3/8 is the max flare potential, and 6 3/4, which is double that, a quarter of the ball, is going to lope and be the cleanest distance that we can make that. So a lot of times people go in that middle range, somewhere from 4 to 5.5. Thirdly is the second angle, and that's going to determine the response time of the bowling ball. The smaller the number, the faster response it has, and the lower the number, the smoother response it has. I have 2 bowling balls in front of me here. One is symmetric and one is asymmetric. So when measuring or doing dual angle layouts on bowling balls, it's really important to know that the first line on a symmetric ball is going to be from the pin through the CG. And on an asymmetric bowling ball, it's going to be from the pin through the mass bias, because the CG might not always be in line. So it's important to know that you always go through that third mark. It's 6 3/4 inches from the pin, and that is going to give you where you need to start. Let's go ahead and lay out a bowling ball. All right, so now we're going to map out this fireball here. So this is a symmetric bowling ball, so it does not have a mass bias. It's only got 2 markings here, the pin and the CG. But we'll take our pencil here and draw a line from the pin through the CG. And the first number we're going to do is the first angle. So the first angle is going to position the core from, left to right, from the top to bottom. So if the pin's at the top and the core's here, we're going to move this around and we can swing the core different directions. So we're just going to do something pretty neutral here. We're going to do a 60 degrees on the first one. And we're going to make a tick here on the right side. And then we're going to draw a line from that tick through the pin. So now we have this angle right here that's going to be 60 degrees, if you can see that. And then what we're going to do next is do the pin to PAP. So this determines how much the ball is going to flare. So 3 3/8 is max leverage, which is the max flare potential, because it puts the core at its most unstable position. So it's going to try really, really hard to get back. So a lot of times we don't drill bowling balls like that anymore because it makes them overly smooth. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to do it a 4.5-inch pin, which is pretty strong but pretty normal. A lot of people have pins in this range, even with different rev rates. So what we're going to do is down that angled line we already drew at 60 degrees, we're going to mark from the pin 4.5 inches down, and we're going to make a tick in that spot. So now this distance here is 4.5 inches. So we got 60 degrees by 4.5 inches pin to pap. Now we're going to do is the second angle, and we're going to put our prosec on this tick that we just made 4.5 inches down that line from the pin, and we are going to find the angle we want to do. So I want this one to be pin up, so it has to have a smaller second angle. 35 to 40 is usually a safe number to get the pin above the fingers. And what that number does is if it's a little bit lower, or the lower the number, the usually faster response time the ball is going to have. So when it sees friction, it should turn a little harder. But if we took that number and made it like 65, 75, 80, it's going to bring that pin lower, and it's going to make the shape rounder. And it's just going to be generally smoother response time. So we made our tick here at 35 degrees. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line from the previous tick through the new tick, and that is going to give us our vertical axis line, or no, VAL. So this new mark that we made right there is going to be where our PAP is going on this new bowling ball. So we'll take on this vertical axis line and we'll measure down how many up you are in your PAP. So I'm 1.5 inches up, so we're going to measure 1.5 inches down. And now that's going to give us a spot to make another tab. And then we take that tab and we draw that back towards the pin in the distance that your PAP is over. So my PAP is 4 3/8 by 1.5 inches. So we measured down 1.5 inches. Now I'm going to measure 4 3/8 back this direction. And I'm going to make another tick here at the 3/8 mark. And what that mark does is it gives me my center grip of how I'm going to lay this bowling ball out. So I'm going to take a prosect here and draw a perpendicular line to the line we just made, and that's going to create my center line. So that square right there is going to be your exact center grip. So what you'll do is you'll cut your grip in half, like my span is 4 1/4 from cut to cut. So I'm going to measure 2 1/8 up and 2 1/8 down. And that's going to be where my fingers go. And where my thumb go. So fingers here, thumb here. There you have it. 60 by 4 1/2 by 35. Sweet. Hey guys, this is AJ Chapman here, Ebonite Pro Staffer and worker. Try again.
Take 2.
Yeah, take 2. Hey guys, this is AJ Chapman. He did something. I started laughing at him, like when he did it. Yeah. Okay. The next number is the pin to PAP difference, distance. I was really good for that. The next thing is the pin to PAP. Speak. Spice. You can take that ball and make sure it's drilled the exact same.
For me, I can't do squat.
Well, what are you doing? You got to figure it out.